YouTube. I'm out here at the bee yard and just wanted to make a short video, or maybe make a short video. I've got a swarm that swarmed out of my yard, and I'm going to see if I can't get it caught. So this is going to be a short one on how I would catch one like this. This is real low hanging, probably going to be an easy video, so come along. So this is a swarm here. It's a pretty good sized little swarm. And it's just right here from the bee yard. So, I mean, this is their, what I would call pre-swarm. They're gonna fly out, they're gonna find a little tree first thing, and then they'll decide where they're gonna go. And from there, they'll go to wherever they're planning on going. So, so right now they're just all getting together and saying, hey, this is where we need to be. And I don't know why it is, but it seems like on cloudy days, just more swarms. And it's just my experience, but that's the way it's been. So let's see if we can get this in a box. I'm gonna start picking through it a little bit, see if I can't spot the queen real quick. If I can spot a queen, then I'll just put her in the box and see if I can't get them to walk in. That might make an interesting video. More than likely, I'm just gonna end up shaking them in the box though. I don't know for sure, but she was up here being real curious and she just took off running. Kind of wondering if she didn't just get a stinger in her. It's kind of funny. So what I've got is I got me a box here, and I'm gonna tape up the entrance so that when I get them in there, they have to stay, and I'll leave them in there overnight, and I'll let them go in the morning if I catch them, which I will. I'll get them in the box. But what I'd like to do for video sake is like I said, I like to catch the queen. This is a queen clip. It's just big enough that I can get the queen in there, and she can still be tended to by her attendants there inside the hive. And I'll just put this inside the hive if I can find the queen in that swarm. It's an awful big swarm. I don't expect to be able to find her, but I would sure like to. So we'll see what happens. So let me walk you guys through my plan here. I am going to take me a pair of cutters, and I'm going to trim some of them limbs off around that so that I can get to the swarm a little easier. Catching the queen didn't work. It's just too big. That's going to be a heavy swarm. So I picked through them a little bit, see if I could see her. If I'd have seen her right off, I'd have grabbed her. It had been a cool video, but you know, it's not going to work out. So, but what is going to work out is we're going to drop them into the box here, and we'll have us another hive. I've taped up the entrance so that they can't get out. If you're not using the actual metal duct tape, you should try it. It makes life a lot easier. It's just like putting sticky tinfoil over the top of it, because I guess that's what it is. 3 frames in it, so they have plenty of room. I'll have to make sure I'm in this hive within a week, because they'll have that all filled out and full of burr comb if I don't. But it's got 3 frames of drawn comb in there, and so we'll just see if we can drop them in there, and then next week we'll come back at it and make sure that they've got all 5 frames, or at least 4 frames in there, and that should be another hive. I do want to apologize in advance because I don't have a tripod out here. This kind of happened quick, so if you can't hear me or what have you, I apologize, but it will be a good show. We'll see what I can make of it, but let's get them caught. Like I said, I apologize for your view. No tripod. I basically backed the truck up underneath this hive. I'm going to cut some of those limbs away from the bottom of it so that I can easier shake them into this box, and we'll see if my little plan here works. I can't guarantee anything. Move everything away from the box so I don't have to dig it out from under bees here in a minute. hedge tree with its thorns. Makes it all that more exciting. If I didn't have a ladder and I was doing this, I'd be careful about cutting too many of the long limbs off the ends, because that makes the tree go up higher and it'll get out of your reach. So you kind of cut it so that it stays within your reach. But we do have the truck here, so we're going to be able to shake these down right into this hive. So it's not that big of a concern of mine. Basically, I'm just exposing this hive, or this swarm, best I can, so that I can just shake them straight down in the box. If I was to give them too much of a jolt, they would just fall right off here. So you got to be careful about that. I want to have a straight shot down into the box is all I'm trying to get here, is cutting these limbs away so that they can fall straight in there. It'd help if my cutters weren't all rusted. See what we can make of this. You want to? We'll just take and pull this limb down as far as it'll go. Just stretch it down. So it's just over the box, and then we'll just give it a shake. Just looking at that limb real quick, make sure I don't see the queen right off. If I did, I would catch her. Now I'm going to come over here to these bees that are on my truck. I'm going to look through them real good. Make sure my queen's not in there among these bees that are on the truck. A lot of times swarms will have 2 or 3 queens in it. They won't always just have one queen. So we'll let them settle down just a little bit. A lot of them will go back up that limb. Some of them will come back to this box. So you can see there on the truck how many bees actually fell on the truck. Some on the hive there, which is a good sign because they're probably in there saying the queen's there. We'll look through here real good and make sure the queen's not there. If this ball stays like it is, they'll all kind of ball up to where the queen's at. So we'll just leave them be for a minute. See if they'll find their own path and tell me where I need to be. I don't know if you guys can see that. They're all balling up back up here on the tree. There's pheromones still on that limb, so they'll go back on there as much as they can. See a couple of them just starting there on the front. That's why I like that tinfoil tape. I mean, it's not anything to, or the real duct tape. It's just metal tape. Not hard to punch a hole in, but they can't get through it, and it's real easy to work with. You can see the bees are starting to go in there, and the more I go in there, the more I'll know I have the queen. They won't all ball up in there or march in there if the queen's not in there. So. I'm going to move them over closer to that bunch there. You can see them starting to move now in that direction. And that's called marching. And they know their queen's in there because there's a pheromone that they've got in there. And they're going to that queen. These bees that are balled back up there, they're just going to that queen pheromone that is still on that limb. Once this traffic jam lightens up a little bit and I can see that they can get in that entrance, I'll take this and shake them down there next to that box and let them work their way in it. You see they're all going up top. They're looking for a way in. They don't recognize that the entrance is the way in just yet because it's too small and everything's piled up there. As there's room made up, the entrance gets open and they can smell the queen pheromone again. They'll find it, but they can't find that little entrance hole right now. But they're amazing creatures. They'll eventually get that traffic jam sorted out, and everybody will make it in. You know, tape it closed, leave it overnight. If it's hot out, don't leave your hive overnight. Find some place that, if you're going to tape them closed, find some place like a garage or what have you so it doesn't get as hot. But that's about the only way you can leave them taped up if it's hot out. But it's 65 degrees today. It's not going to hurt for me to tape them closed. I'll come back to you once I shake them down from this top piece here. I'll let you see that and march them in the rest of it. I may or may not. I might just let this video call it good. But so I think what I'm going to do while they're marching the rest of the way in there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the hives and see if I can figure out where they came from. I'm kind of wondering, I caught this swarm last week, this little swarm box here. And I'm kind of wondering if that's not where they came from. If that swarm didn't decide they didn't like it, they're going to move on, because all the other hives look pretty good. This one had a lot of movement when I first got here. So I'm that's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to take a look in there. I don't know that you'll be able to see what I'm doing because I don't have a tripod. But I'll set it up just in case, and then if it works, great, and I'll leave it using the video. And if it doesn't work, then I won't use it in the video. This was all new when I first got these bees here. Everything was just a piece of wax. There was no drawn comb. They've got it drawn out to probably 90% there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them another frame in here, give them some space. I was going to put them in that orange box. That was my whole plan. That's the reason I was in this yard. But the orange box just got used up, so we've got some weird burr comb they're building here. I don't like that. That's got to come off. That piece of comb was sitting on there. Didn't want it there. They had it attached to that side. Hive looks healthy. Queen's laying good. I haven't seen her, but she's obviously in there because there's eggs. I sure don't think that my swarm came from this box as many bees as there is. Because it is loaded with bees. If I can give you guys a look down in there. Lots and lots of bees in there. Way more than I expected to see, more than I caught in that swarm. So, and I just added this frame here. So that doesn't look like a lot of bees in comparison to what it did when I first opened it, because they were all piled up on top, but that is a good amount of bees. They had this stuck to the frames. If you've got this in your hives and they've built a piece on the outside of your frames because your bee space is messed up, cut it off early as soon as you can, so that you don't get burr comb everywhere and it gets unmanageable. I'm going to just drop that wax in there. I'm not going to leave that wax laying, because if I did leave it wet laying, then I would attract wax spawns. I know the bees like it, but best place for it is in your smoker. All right, let's close it back up. Something that you guys probably need to see all these bees in the air, and you're like, oh no, the bees are in the air, they're not going in my box. No, they come off the limb. They're trying to refocus on this box. All those bees have marched in. These bees now are trying to figure out where that's at. So they'll eventually find that. I should have shook them sooner, but like I say, I like to try to show you the good stuff and the bad stuff, things that I do right, things that I do wrong. So eventually they will all find their way to that box right there. I wanted to show you guys, I've told my son for years, always check the top cover when you pull it off the hive. Make sure your queen's not on it. I pulled that off the hive and I set it down there. I was just doing an inspection on this hive and set it down right there. And I'll be darned if our queen isn't on that top cover. Always be careful. Now, J6 honeybees, I will see you next time.